All right, welcome back to the podcast. Today, Mauricio, we're diving into a topic that I think every Spanish learner, and even some native speakers, can relate to. The vast, often bewildering gap between textbook Spanish and what people actually say on the street.
Absolutely, Wesley. It's like learning about Shakespearean English and then landing in modern-day London expecting to understand everyone. You'd be totally lost. Spanish is no different, especially when you compare regions like Spain and Mexico.
It's so true. I remember my first trip to Spain, fresh out of a Spanish class where I'd aced everything, feeling so confident. And then someone said something like, "Que guay," and I just stared blankly. Guay? What even is that?
Haha, KY is a classic. It's how cool, right? And for someone used to, say, que interesante or que bien, it definitely throws you off. In Mexico, you'd probably hear que padre or que chido instead.
Exactly. And my textbook certainly didn't prepare me for chido. I mean, padre means father, right? So que padre sounds like how fatherly, if you're taking it literally. The context shift is monumental.
It is, and that's the beauty and the beast of learning a language, isn't it? The living, breathing parts that evolve, that are tied to culture and regional identity. For Cheeto, it just means cool. No real etymological deep dive there, it's just cool.
And it makes you realize that you're not just learning words, you're learning a cultural code. It's like an insider's handshake. When you drop a que padre in Mexico, you're not just saying something is cool, you're saying it with a local flavor.
Exactly. It opens doors, shows you're making an effort, that you're interested in more than just the basics. I remember a friend from Spain tried to use que padre in Mexico and it felt a little forced. He'd tried to adopt it, but it didn't quite flow.
It's a subtle art for sure. But let's get into some more specific examples. You mentioned güey for Spain. What about something like referring to people? My textbook taught me señor or señorita.
Oh, absolutely. In Spain, you'll hear tío and tía all the time, even when you're not talking about an actual uncle or aunt. It's like dude or good in English. Oye, tío, ¿qué tal? Hey dude, how's it going? It's super common.
Right, and if you just learned tío as uncle, that would be incredibly confusing. Imagine asking a stranger, "Hey uncle, how are you?" It would be quite a moment.
A very awkward moment, yes. In Mexico, the closest equivalent, which is also used with friends and often strangers, is wey, W-E-Y. It's even more informal than tío. Some people consider it a bit crude, but everyone uses it, especially younger generations.
Wey. So if I'm talking to a friend in Mexico, I could just say, "¿Qué onda, wey?"
Exactly. That's perfect. ¿Qué onda, wey? Is like, what's up, dude? It's friendly, it's casual, and it's ubiquitous. But use it carefully because it's definitely not for formal settings or for your boss unless you have a very casual relationship.
That's a crucial distinction. The line between informal and offensive is often razor thin with slang. What about something like expressing disbelief or surprise? My books taught "no puedo creerlo" or "es increíble."
Good one. In Mexico, you'll hear no manches a lot. It's like no way, or you're kidding, or even give me a break. It's incredibly versatile. It literally means don't stain, but nobody thinks of that.
Wow. No manches. So different from "no puedo creerlo." And in Spain, for disbelief?
In Spain, something like no me lo puedo creer is common, but informally, you might hear venga ya or que fuerte. Venga ya is like, come on, no way, and que fuerte is like how strong but means how intense, shocking.
See, this is exactly what I mean. If you're only taught the literal translation, you're missing out on so much. Que fuerte is a perfect example of a phrase where the literal meaning provides almost no clue to its actual usage.
Right? It's not about physical strength at all, but emotional impact. You just have to know. And these are the kinds of things that immersion helps with. You hear them used in context, and eventually, it clicks.
It's also about speed. Colloquialisms are often quicker, more efficient ways to express complex emotions or ideas. No manches is just 2 words. Boom. Disbelief. No puedo creerlo is 3, a little more formal, takes a bit longer.
Absolutely, it's linguistic shorthand. And what about when you want to say something is really good or amazing? We talked about guay and padre, but what else?
In Spain you might hear es la leche, which literally means it's the milk. Again, utterly confusing if you don't know the slang. It means it's awesome, or it's incredible.
Es la leche. That one always makes me smile. It's so uniquely Spanish. In Mexico, besides padre or chido, you might hear está con madre, which is a bit more vulgar but means something is really, really excellent.
Now that's definitely not in any textbook. Está con madre sounds like it could get you into trouble if you use it in the wrong setting.
Oh, for sure. You wouldn't use that in a job interview, but among close friends, it's very common and completely understood as high praise. Context is always king, especially with these colorful expressions.
Which brings us to a good point. How do you even learn these? Because textbooks are obviously not doing the trick. Is it just exposure?
Mostly, yes. Immersion is key. Watching movies, TV shows, listening to music, podcasts like this one, and, crucially, interacting with native speakers. Don't be afraid to ask, what does that mean when you hear something new?
I remember seeing on LearnSpanishLikeIDid.com, they stress how important it is to engage with authentic content. It's not just about the words, it's about the rhythm, the intonation, the cultural cues that come with it.
Exactly. You can read all the grammar rules in the world, but until you hear someone say hostia in Spain or órale in Mexico, you don't truly grasp the feeling behind it. They're both exclamations, but the situations and feelings they convey are distinct.
Hostia is another one that caught me off guard. It can mean wow, damn, or even a bit like oops. It has so many shades depending on context and tone.
Yes, hostia literally means host or wafer in a religious context, so it can be quite offensive to some, but it's used so casually by many young people in Spain now. It's fascinating how language evolves.
And órale in Mexico, that's incredibly versatile too. Like, alright, go for it, come on wow. It's a Swiss Army knife of an expression.
It really is. Órale pues, let's go then. Órale, que bien. Oh wow, how good. It just fits everywhere. It's almost a linguistic shrug and a cheer all rolled into one.
Let's talk about work. My textbook taught trabajo for work and trabajar for to work. Simple enough.
Yes, standard, but in Spain you'll often hear currar for to work and curro for work or a job. Estoy currando means I'm working, and it's very common, very informal.
Gua? So like a blue collar, getting your hands dirty kind of work? Or just any work?
Any work really, it's just a more casual way to say it. And in Mexico we have chamba. Tengo chamba, I have a job, and do chambeando, I'm working. It's got that nice, easygoing feel to it.
Chamba. I've heard that one before. It's funny how each region has its own specific terms for such a fundamental concept. It highlights how deeply ingrained these linguistic differences are.
It does, and it's not just vocabulary. Sometimes it's about grammar structures that are less formal. For example, in Spain you might hear the past participle used a lot with estar. Estoy cansado versus estoy hecho polvo.
Hecho polvo? Literally made dust? What does that mean?
It means I'm exhausted or I'm totally worn out. It's such a vivid image, isn't it? Like you've been ground into dust.
That's fantastic. I love how descriptive slang can be. In Mexico, do you have a similar expression for being super tired?
We might say, estoy molido, I'm ground up, like coffee beans, or estoy hecho pomada, I'm made into ointment, like I'm completely soft and tired. Similar idea, different imagery.
It's all about adding that extra layer of flavor to your communication. What about being lazy? My book taught perezoso.
In Mexico, we often say, echar la hueva, H-U-E-V-A. It literally means to throw the egg, or to throw the roe, but it means to be lazy or to chill out. Estoy echando la hueva en casa.
Echar la hueva. That's a great one. And in Spain?
They might say, estar de brazos cruzados, to be with crossed arms, meaning doing nothing, or estar de parranda if you're out partying instead of working. But echar la hueva is very Mexican.
It really highlights the unique personality of each dialect. It's not just about substituting one word for another, but the whole vibe changes. It's a reflection of the culture.
Precisely. Mexico, with its rich history and vibrant culture, tends to have very expressive and often playful slang. Spain's slang can be a bit more direct, sometimes even a little rough around the edges, but equally expressive.
Let's do another one for describing something as good or cool. We covered güey, padre, chido. What about something that's really, genuinely good, like a good person?
In Spain, for a person you'd hear majo or maja. Es muy majo means he's a very nice guy. It's a lovely compliment, implying kindness and pleasantness.
Majo, that's a good one. And in Mexico?
In Mexico, you might say, es a toda madre, for a really good person, but again, that's very informal and can be vulgar if not used correctly. More generally, buena onda is used for a good vibe or a good person. Él es muy buena onda. He's a good person, good vibes.
Buena onda. Good wave. I love how literal some of these phrases are, and yet others are totally opaque. It's a linguistic puzzle.
It is, and that's what makes it so engaging. You're always learning, always discovering new layers. It's never static. That's why just memorizing textbook phrases isn't enough.
It's like going to a fancy restaurant and ordering from a menu, versus actually cooking with a local chef. You get the real flavor, the real experience when you delve into the slang.
That's a perfect analogy, Wesley. You get the secret ingredients. It's also about understanding the humor. Spanish speakers love to play with language, and slang is a huge part of that.
I remember seeing on the LearnSpanishLikeIDid.com site, they talk about cultural fluency, which is exactly this. It's not just about grammar, but about fitting in, understanding the jokes, the nuances.
Yes, cultural fluency is key. It shows respect for the culture, and it makes your interactions so much richer. You're not just communicating, you're connecting.
What about something for like, when you're really excited or flipping out about something?
In Spain, estar flipando is very common. Estoy flipando con esta música. I'm flipping out over this music, or I'm amazed by it. It implies a strong, almost overwhelming positive reaction.
Estar flipando. That's pretty direct. And in Mexico?
In Mexico, you might say, estoy súper emocionado, which is more formal, or for stronger excitement, estoy que no me la creo. I'm so excited I can't believe it. Or, estoy vuelto loco, I'm crazy overwhelmed with excitement.
It's interesting how Spain uses flipar directly, while Mexico tends to be a bit more descriptive, or uses phrases that build up the emotion. It's a subtle cultural difference in expression, I think.
I agree. Spain can be very direct and concise with its slang, sometimes even a bit abrupt. Mexico's slang, while equally rich, often has a more layered, almost poetic quality to it, sometimes drawing on more colorful imagery.
It's almost like Spain tends towards sharper, punchier slang, while Mexico might use more vivid, descriptive metaphors. Not always, but it's a pattern I'm noticing.
That's a really keen observation, Wesley. I think you're right. Consider ser un chaval in Spain to be a kid youngster. Simple, direct. Whereas in Mexico, we might say ser un morro or ser un chamaco. Same meaning, different feel.
So for our listeners who are navigating these linguistic waters, what's your advice for not just learning these colloquialisms, but using them appropriately?
My biggest advice is listen, listen, listen. Pay attention to who says what and in what context. When in doubt, don't use it. It's always safer to stick to more formal language than to accidentally offend someone with misused slang.
That's excellent advice. Observe and absorb, then experiment carefully. And don't be afraid to ask. Most native speakers are delighted when you show an interest in their local dialect.
Absolutely. They'll appreciate the effort. And just embrace the journey. Learning a language is never really done. It's a continuous, evolving process, just like the language itself.
It makes the whole experience so much richer. From güey to chido, from tío to güey, these colloquialisms are the soul of the language, aren't they?
They truly are, Wesley. They're the authentic voice, the flavor that textbooks just can't quite capture. So go out there, listen, learn, and don't be afraid to sound a little molido or hecho polvo after a long day of linguistic discovery.
Fantastic advice, Mauricio. Thank you for sharing your insights today. And to all our listeners, keep learning, keep exploring, and we'll catch you next time.
Adios, Weis, or should I say, hasta luego, tíos. Take care, everyone.